you had the over in U.S. Latvia, that literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. In similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Do you have like, oh, well, we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day on a terrific Thursday evening. Scott Wetzel and Gabriel Morency for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, and of course, betting on the world of sports. A lot to get to tonight. As always, the NBA is back. So are NFL win totals. How about that for next season? Making life a lot more complicated like it needs to be in the NBA. College basketball tonight, men's Olympic hockey tomorrow, and obviously we'll recap a little bit of USA versus Canada this afternoon. Another great hockey match if you like hockey. So a lot to get to over the next couple of hours. First up, it is game time. What's betting you up tonight, Gabe?
Oh, it's been another exhilarating day in Milan. It's too bad we only have 2 more days left of competition. The last 5 hockey games that have been played have gone to overtime. We had 3 consecutive overtime games on the men's side of things, and we had 2 overtimes today. Sweden and Switzerland, they went to overtime playing for the bronze medal. Gold medal, Canada, USA, goes to overtime. And a common theme, too. These teams are down and they score late and then end up winning. After, as Canada were 2 minutes away from pulling off a massive upset today. But the real story on the ice is Alyssa Liu. Unbelievable performance today. The USA hadn't won, it's hard to believe actually, but they hadn't won a gold medal in figure skating, the women's individual, the showcase event of the Olympics since 2002, 24 years. And while that was going on, man, you had all kinds of crazy stuff going on in curling. Worlds are about to collide. We're down to the Final 4 in curlings. We're down to the Final 4 in hockey right now. It's getting real in Milan. Everything else just kind of feels like a letdown. It's like, yeah, great, the NBA's back. Who cares, right? The players don't care, so why should I? But the Olympics have been awesome.
Yeah, really have. They've been a lot of fun. This hockey's just been, as you said, just been unbelievable these past couple of days. So, opening pickoff time. Gabe and I continue to hand out winners. Gave out a bunch again last night. We had a nice little run with this week. So, I'll start with one of my favorite betting systems. We don't talk about it too much because it's kind of morbid, and who wants to kind of highlight it? Because I'm not minimizing this at all. But Chicago Bulls playing tonight against the Toronto Raptors. Your Raptors, Gabe. The death system is in play. What is that? that's when a member, whether it's the team, whether it's the coach, something, a passing, unfortunately happens. Billy Donovan, head coach of the Bulls, father passed away this past week. I don't even know if he's going to be coaching the team. They were talking about he might not be with the team tonight, but you talk about needing inspiration. Bulls went into the All-Star break 0-6 straight up and against the spread in complete tank mode. But I can't help but think at home getting points against a good Toronto team, no two ways about it. But if they're not going to be inspired tonight, first game, then you know what? You write off the Bulls for the rest of the season. So give me Chicago. We're going to flip this. I originally had Toronto tonight, but when I read about Billy Donovan's dad, give me Toronto or give me a Chicago plus the 5.5 against the Raptors.
Yeah, I can't buy into that angle. I can buy into some of these. My condolences to the family and stuff, but the fact that the coach's father died last week, really, is going to have zero effect, in my opinion, on an NBA game tonight. It's you know what I mean? But hey, if you want to ride with it, ride with it. I'm just saying my own. Some of them, the whole people pass away, it's hit or miss, right? Was everybody thinks about Brett Favre and stuff like that, but I'll respectfully pass on that angle. I do have a pick in that game momentarily, but this college stuff always tips off right away. So let's start off. This is in your wheelhouse, actually. I'm just riding a trend here. And it's not just a trend, it's reality in that the University of Kansas City suck, all right? They're terrible. And it's hard to be bad. We always talk about it, me and Scott, about it's hard to be bad, lose games and not cover or win and cover. It's hard to be good or bad at both. Kansas City are a good example of this. They're terrible outright and they're terrible against the spread. They haven't covered in 2.5, 3 weeks. They're 0-10 in their last 10 games against the spread, but you dig deeper, they're 5-18 against the spread on the season. And they don't get murdered by 20 every night or 30 type of deal, but they just don't cover. They lose by, if they're getting 9, they lose by 13. And I'll tell you what, North Dakota are good enough to do something about it. They're a good basketball team. They're 16-10 ATS on the season. They already beat them by double digits a couple of weeks ago. They should be able to do it again tonight. I don't like laying 10. It's actually 10 now, not 11. So let's go with North Dakota tonight.
All right, I got to play on that one as well coming up here in a bit, but I wanted to start off with the NBA tonight in honor of them coming back. I'll grab the Phoenix Suns. Not in love with this pick, but, we had a limited number of games here at 8 o'clock, bunch of them already underway. I love the Knicks tonight, but give me Phoenix plus the 7.5. One of the best against the spread teams in the NBA. They've been a surprise. They've already passed their win total from the beginning of the season, believe it or not. They're getting 7.5. They were 2-4 straight up and against the spread heading into the break, so they were limping home here, but I'm thinking the week off there will give them some goodness. And in San Antonio, listen, the boys in Vegas are really buying into this team, right? Making them a whopping 7.5 point favorite. Give me Phoenix. I'll take my chances. They keep this thing close plus the 7.5.
Yeah, I think the point spread does feel a little bit high in this game. There's no Dylan Brooks tonight. Okay, Dylan Brooks is arguably their second best player, but it still feels like a lot of points. I have a pick in this game. We'll get to it momentarily. Let's go with Cal Baptist. We're getting 8 points, 8.5 points here with Cal Baptist in this basketball game here tonight. And Cal Baptist are another one. This is a hot team, man. They're 9-1 against they're 9-1 straight up in their last 10. So they're winning games, and I'm getting 8 points here. So I don't even have to win the game against Utah Valley. I don't have to win. I'm getting 8 points with a team that's won 9 of their last 10 games. To me, this game's a toss-up. I think it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be a super close game. Cal Baptist are a sneaky good team, actually. They've gotten pretty good pretty quickly, actually. They were terrible when they first came in, but they're starting to put this together. Give me Cal Baptist plus the points.
All right. Next one from me, that game, North Dakota versus Kansas City. You mentioned it. Kansas City 0-10 straight up and against the spread. How are you that bad that you could lose 10 in a row and not even cover? Forget about winning. That really takes something. We mentioned it with Air Force, right? The same thing the other day. What Air Force ended up doing, losing by 35 points. I forget who they were playing. So to think that all of a sudden Kansas City is going to turn it on, not with my money. I'll lay the 10.5 with North Dakota, which you mentioned it. Beat them earlier this year. They're one of the best teams in the Summit. Give me North Dakota laying the double digits against Kansas City.
Yeah, you know, once in a while I can understand getting in front of a trend or in front of like a streak, I should say, not a trend, because it's not really a trend. It's just fact. They suck, right?
Yeah.
But like with a good team, it's like, listen, the Dodgers have lost 5 in a row. They're winning today. Like, you know what I mean? One of those
Yeah.
type of deals. Not the University of Kansas City. The Kangaroos are terrible. Like, they need a better name. They need new uniforms. They need new everything. Just start over, start the program over. But yeah, we'll lay the points there. So as far as the NBA is being back, I never liked the last game going into the break. I hate the first game back out of the All-Star break. I don't like it in hockey. I don't like it in baseball. I don't like it in any of these sports in which we have mid-season All-Star breaks. I mean, some of these dudes have been off a long time, so who knows? Like, you know, what's going to happen, what players are going to be like, what kind of mood they're going to be in, and all this type of stuff. But as Scott had mentioned, the Bulls were freaking terrible, right? They traded everybody. They've been getting murdered on a nightly basis. I think the Raptors are going to roll them tonight, but I'm going to give you Emmanuel quickly. Interesting stat. The Bulls, listen, the Bulls are terrible defensively, guys. They give up the third most assist in the NBA. Quickly's having a great year. Quickly averages like 6.5 assists a game. It's 5.5 tonight. The Raptors are not a selfish team. Quickly's going to spread the ball around to everybody. Let's go with Emmanuel quickly, guys. Over 5.5 assists.
Not bad, not bad. All right, Gabe and I both have one more pick left for our opening pickoff. I don't want to spill the beans on mine because I have done something that I really deserve a reward. I deserve a gold medal. We're in the Olympics. I deserve a gold medal for my next pick. I'll explain.
You had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. And similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Do you have like, oh, well, we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. We continue along with our opening pickoff. And I'm telling you right now, Gabe, you're going into this with like, no way, no way, no way. But when I tell you my next pick and my reasoning, you're going to say, you know what? You deserve a gold medal for that. Here we go. Ready? Give me Mississippi Valley State plus 9.5 against Prairie View A&M. Now, if you don't know anything about college basketball, then I'll tell you, Mississippi Valley State is bar none the absolute worst team in college basketball. Not only this year, but last year, the year before, the year before, the year before, and the year before. How so, Scott? They have 16 wins. Oh, that's not that bad, 16 wins, Scott, right? No. They have 16 wins over the last 7 years combined. And 3 of those have been against Division III teams or Division II teams. Their only win this year is against a school I never heard of. And I don't even know if they're playing women because the school is the Mississippi University for Women. That's their only win this year. Mississippi University for Women, right? So why are we putting American money on them, Scott, you ask, right? I found a positive stat for Mississippi Valley State. Don't ask why. Don't ask where. Don't give me what. But here's the bottom line. This pathetic biggest waste of human flesh in basketball uniforms game, for whatever reason, is 9-0 against the spread against Prairie View A&M, the team they're playing tonight, including a 1-point loss earlier this season. Why this team plays Prairie View A&M tough, I don't know. 16 wins, like I said, over the last 7 years combined. Give me Mississippi Valley State plus the 9.5 tonight. What do you think about that?
You know what? I've done stupider and crazier things, so I'm not going to come at you for it. That logic, like you said, well, Prairie View aren't very good, right? So you get that sort of, they're not good either, and you're laying a ton of points. Too many points to lay. That's the way I would look at it as well. Yeah, Mississippi Valley State, Jerry Rice actually played there. But
yes,
they become the new Savannah State, who I think went bankrupt. Like Savannah State, I don't know, maybe they've got to be still around, but like 10 years ago, Savannah State became that paycheck, like lose by 70 every game type of team. And they were just making a ton of money doing it. That's what I never understand with these schools. Like, they have to be rich. Like, all these paycheck games that you guys have, and you're not paying, like, oh, it covers the cost of your program. Like, you guys are, like, taking skateboards. Like, you don't even have a team bus, some of these teams. Like, they have it beaten down like you school bus, right? But I don't have a problem with it. I want to add something. I talked about Phoenix, and I said Dylan Brooks is going to be out. Now throw another name into the rotation here. Grayson Allen is now out as well. This is adding up for the this is starting to stock. The injuries are starting to stockpile here for the Phoenix Suns in this game. It's too bad because I was looking at Grayson Allen. Nobody likes Grayson Allen, right? He's a dirty player. He went to Duke. He looks like Ted Cruz. Like, there's just, like, no one likes him, right? Like, so. Yeah. And the thing is, Scott, it's pretty crazy, but popularity affects point spreads, bro.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It does.
Definitely.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I see it, and if I'm a big fight fan, and, we cover MMA and boxing and all this type of stuff, like, you see it. Like, a fighter can be not liked, so, you get value with them, and someone's popular, so they're overpriced, and all this type of stuff. And it's the case with Grayson Allen, bro. Like, his prop is like 13.5 every night, Scott, and the kid drops like 17, 19 or whatever. Like, he goes over all the time, but nobody ever's like, I want to bet on Grayson Allen tonight. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
he's the guy you want to root against.
Dirty guy there, I am. Like, really? Him of all people? Like, yeah, that's the prop. Like, and so it's just, I kind of caught on to that. I'm like, yeah, no one likes him. No one talks about him. Guy can score 18 every night. No one's going to ever bring it up, right? But he's having a nice year. And I thought, well, Dylan Brooks is out, and Brooks gives him like 20 a night. So, but now Grayson Allen is out, so it's still 8. So, yeah, you're going in like you're shorthanded with the Phoenix Suns here tonight. But I'm going to throw the under in this game. And I hate taking unders. I got burnt doing it the other night in a college game, but here we go again. The fact of the matter is Phoenix and San Antonio are under teams. San Antonio doesn't really want to run and gun. Like, they can, but they don't, right? They'll get, if you bait them into it, but like in the playoffs, teams, it sounds crazy. Like, put it this way. Do you want to set up in a half court with Victor Wembanyama? Like, you're almost like, nah, like we almost have to like transition and like, right? But the Spurs are good defensively, right? Wembanyama causes chaos. Like, he changes things. The Suns play at a slow pace to begin with, right? They had the 22nd ranked pace in in the NBA. The Spurs are 15-10 to the under on their home court this year. They played twice already this year. Both their games went under. Both these teams are under teams. You don't kind of like, perception and reality are always two different things in life and in sports. People think, oh, San Antonio, yeah, they're good. And they're a good defensive team, right? They're 32-23 to the under on the year. Oh, Phoenix Suns, run and gun. No, the Phoenix Suns used to be that. Now they're good because they play defense. They're 31-24 to the under. 229.5 with no Dylan Brooks. I know Dylan Brooks is a really good defensive player too. So, yeah, that hurts. But he also scores 20-22 a night. Now you're taking away Grayson Allen's 16. I already like the under. I'm going under 229.5 here, guys, in the Phoenix Suns San Antonio Spur game.
I brought this up before, Gabe. I don't think it's coincidence by any stretch. You look at the best defensive teams statistically in the NBA. Oklahoma City, number 1. Boston, number 2. Detroit, Houston, Phoenix, Knicks, San Antonio, Toronto, Clippers, Golden State, Charlotte, Minnesota. Those are all playoff teams. You look at the teams at the bottom, they give up the most, but Utah, Washington, Sacramento, Bulls, New Orleans, Atlanta, Indiana, Portland, Memphis. They all suck.
The good teams play defense in the NBA now. Yeah. If you try, and that's the whole thing. There's like 8 to 10 teams. You just name them. These guys try every night. That's why they win games. They play defense, point blank. And then you get these other teams that try to, like a team like the Lakers. Oh, well, we'll play defense in the playoffs. Yeah. All right, you don't know how to do it though. So you're gonna try now. You don't know how to do it. You gotta know how to do it.
Yep. All right, in-game live continues. We'll look at the scoreboard when we come back here on the Grid.
Had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. In similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Do you have we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go out and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live game day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. We got Nick Hammond, ZoneCoverage.com coming up here in a little bit. We'll talk some baskets with him. And Pete Jensen, NHL.com, will join us next hour. Do some Olympic hockey and some NHL in the second half futures with him. So busy hour. Yep, NBA is back. Marquee game of the night. Really, a kind of a true test here in Detroit and the New York Knicks. If you don't believe in Detroit by now, this is kind of one of those games, Gabe, where not only are they in first place, best record in the NBA, they just whacked the Knicks by 38 just a couple of weeks ago. So you generally think, okay, the team that got beat is going to come back flying, right? And I did like New York because of that. But I will say, second quarter, Pistons, they're not going to get blown out of this thing. It doesn't appear anyway. 34-32. They have the lead. 8 minutes left to go. So early second quarter, plenty of time. But a good statement game. Again, if you don't believe in Detroit by now, if they were to beat the Knicks tonight after whacking them, 3 weeks ago and everything else coming out of the All-Star break, then I don't know what it's going to take for you to believe in the Detroit Pistons. But,
yeah, but you know what?
I do like the Knicks, though. Tonight.
This is what I was talking about, Scott. Bias and narrative. You have an East Coast, New York bias. Point blank. The Knicks are overhyped, right? The Knicks are just point blank overhyped. Like you're saying, it's a statement for Detroit. It's a statement for the New York Knicks. It's not a statement for Detroit.
Yeah, too.
Detroit are the better team. They have the better record. They beat the Knicks last time, right? It's a statement for the Knicks. The Knicks just lost to the Pacers going into the All-Star break, right? That's it. But like I said, people, the Knicks. All right, the Knicks have one more win than the Cleveland Cavaliers and two more wins than the Raptors. Or excuse me, three more wins than the Raptors right now. They're at 32. Do people talk about the Raptors every day? No. Right? But because they're in New York. Oh, the New York Knicks, the Knicks. We've been hearing the Knicks for the last 3 years. Listen, you're a Celtic fan, so I'm not projecting it on you. But how many years are we gonna hear about the Knicks? Like, oh, the Knicks are the team. Oh, the Knicks. Oh, yeah, the Knicks. Like, all right, prove it. You know what I mean? Go out and actually do it. You can talk about it all you want. You know what I mean? And Brunson, and you can shut down 34th after and 35th, whatever, after beating the Pacers in a playoff game. But people aren't as afraid of the Knicks as people think, like the New York media wants people to believe. I'm just being real.
That is true.
Yeah, they're okay. 35-20. They're all right. The Boston Celtics don't have their best player, and they're better than the Knicks are. Right? Like I said, the Knicks are a couple of games better than the Raptors are.
I will say this about the Knicks. And you're right, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I do think the NBA.
Where's Coach Young? I don't want to yell at Young. I'll bring Young on about
Coach
this.
Like the NFL can survive game no matter who's winning. The NFL is so you can have the New Orleans Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter, right? NHL, I think the same thing. It's a global sport. Baseball, does it helped out by the Dodgers or Yankees? Maybe a little bit, right? But I do believe the NBA, as much as they can live without the Knicks winning, because they have over the last 20 years, they do need a big city, a big franchise, a big face, whether it's the Lakers, whether it's the Celtics, whether it's the Knicks, to just kind of carry the league a little bit, whether it's LeBron, whether it's Kevin Durant, whether it's Steph Curry. I do think they need that more than any other league.
They want it, right? They want it. I don't know if they need it, but they want it without a doubt. The NBA cares about that more than any other league. Yeah. Like point blank. Right? Like this, like you're right about the NFL. Like people think, oh, it's scripted. And like scripted for what? Like they scripted for the Seattle Seahawks to win against the Patriots? Like really? That was their match.
That was their big script. That was the big one.
This would be awesome. This would really be great. We're going to get Drake May, who's a rookie, he's going to suck in the game. Against Sam Darnold, we'll have a nice, boring, low-scoring game. You know what I mean? That was the script, right? Like you said, the NFL is so big. Like, they might get, 2% more, 3%, whatever, depending on the market. This Super Bowl is down a little bit. But the NBA does care. You're right. I don't think, last year, dude, in Oklahoma City, but something you just talked about, we were talking about with defense. You notice, Scott, the best teams aren't the glamorous market teams.
Right.
Just point blank.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know what I mean? Oklahoma City is not a market that they want, to get back here again. Cleveland, imagine if it's Cleveland versus Oklahoma City. They don't want to kill themselves.
Think about the teams.
Like the
Lakers stink. Knicks are okay. No Bulls, no Lakers.
The Golden State Warriors, New York, and in the East, there really is no big city. I mean, Toronto's a big city, but it's in Canada, so they don't care. Philly doesn't bring it in. I don't disagree. They want the Knicks. I'm not disagreeing to that.
All right, Nick Campbell coming up. Talk some hoops with him when we come back.
had the over in U.S. Latvia, that literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. And similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Do you have like, oh, well, we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. With all the hockey, we'll put that aside for a sec. Continue to talk a little hoops, little NBA hoops with our good buddy Nick Camedy. You find him at zonecoverage.com, at The Real Tiny Nick as well, on Twitter at The Real Tiny Nick. What's going on, Nick? How are you today, bud?
Doing well. It's nice to have some NBA back. I was getting sick and tired of watching college basketball every night, so I'm glad to have the NBA back.
Oh, right. Sick and tired of college basketball, huh?
I love college basketball, but when you watch a college basketball, if you have an over in a college basketball game that does not hit, there is nothing worse to watch, in my opinion. So I'm back to NBA totals.
Let me ask you something. Me and Scott just went over this. He said that this is kind of his, and I wasn't calling Scott out on it because he's kind of right in a sense. He just said if you don't, some people still don't believe in the Detroit Pistons. And he said, and if they win tonight, then you're really going to have to, believe in them. And I said, well, this is more of a statement game for the Knicks. The Pistons are better than the Knicks are. The Pistons beat the Knicks last time they played. And I was just talking about, narratives. And being a T-Wolves fan. And, I'm a Raptor fan. I brought it up. Raptors have 3 less wins than the Knicks. Does ESPN talk about them every day? No. You know what I mean? So I think the Knicks get overhyped a little bit. They're a good team. But there's we've been hearing this for 3 years, right? Oh, yeah, the Knicks, man, the Knicks in the East, the Knicks in the East, the Knicks in the East. All right. Do you think they're coming out of the East? I don't. Do you believe the Knicks are coming out of the East this year?
It's tough for me to say. I really don't have much confidence in any team out of the East this year. I think the East is pretty much up for grabs. I mentioned it last week. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers have as good of a chance of anyone to come out of the East. But, no, I haven't seen enough. The Knicks remind me a little bit of the Wolves of the last couple of years, especially being that they do have Karl Anthony Towns. The shooting of these teams, the three-point shooting just kind of goes out in the playoffs. It's just not good enough. The Pistons without Beasley are going to have some problems on the perimeter. They've tried to fill in those gaps. I mean, they've got guys like Duncan Robinson who have filled those holes throughout the season. But I don't have enough confidence in either of these teams to play offensively at the level that the competition is going to be, especially coming out of the West to actually win a title. Just to come out of the East, though, to not have to go up against the West at all in the finals, I think the Knicks are going to have a lot of problems. I think the Pistons are going to have a lot of problems. I'm looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers, as I mentioned previously, to come out of the East to face a team like OKC or a Denver Nuggets team out of the West. Maybe if we get something crazy, a Minnesota Timberwolves team.
What about Boston, Scott? No one talks about the Celtics, right? Like,
I was going to
Tatum,
mention
what's the deal with Tatum? Isn't he going to the G League? Like, he's actually, he's the progress continues for him.
Yeah. I mean, if I told you, Nick, that he was going to play, and I think he will, maybe not, 30 minutes a game, but he's got to be able to play 10, 15, right? Is that enough to put you over the top on the Celtics?
Until June, guys. There's a lot of a lot of time left. Like, we're
the problem
March,
is, like,
finals aren't until June, the playoffs, like May.
If you insert him a little too late, it could disrupt some chemistry. I think that's a little bit of a problem. And they're super worried that he gets injured again, and it's just not worth bringing him back. I think the Celtics are super interesting. The thing with the Celtics is, up until the Vucevic trade, they didn't have a lot of depth at the center position, running Luka Garza much of the game. I love Luka, but I saw him in Minnesota plenty. He's not a guy that's going to play good enough defense to bring a team through the Eastern Conference into the finals. But as I just mentioned, Vucevic is there now. I think that's a team that they've got some depth, and I think if Jason Tatum comes back, it's just another piece of the puzzle for the Celtics.
All right. How about, I know this is going to be goofy, and I'm not talking NBA Finals or even Eastern Conference Finals, but how about Charlotte? All right. What, 9-1 heading into the break? They turned it on out of the blue, basically. They got a long ways to go. They're hanging tough so far tonight with Houston, 74-72, late in the third. Are we buying into the point of, like, Charlotte, is this not a fluke? Are they going to go back to being the Charlotte Hornets, or are they going to be like a good team the rest of the way?
Yeah, this one could age poorly pretty quickly, but I actually am on the Hornets money line tonight. I've seen enough from the Hornets to – they do have Diabate and Bridges out right now because of that little scuffle against Beef Stew and the rest of the Pistons. Insane, team that they have ready to fight every single year, it seems like. But if you ask me, they're a team that I have a lot of confidence in the way that they've been playing as of late, the way that they went into the All-Star break, the way that they've been playing at home. The young pieces that they have, they've kind of built this roster out to have a good player in every position. Knippel's playing lights out right now. Brandon Miller's starting to turn it on. We know what we got with LaMelo Ball. I do think that the Hornets, especially going into next year and years coming, they're a team to be messed with now. They're actually a powerhouse out of the East. I was going to bring them up as a dark horse, but now that you said it early, yeah, I wouldn't bet against the Hornets right now, especially while they're on this run. If they win tonight, that's a big statement as well.
LaMelo Ball better get a driver, though, as we saw from the crash.
Can he get any more tattoos? Holy fudge.
They said, I like from the video, the car crash, driving like a camouflage, like you're real inconspicuous. Like you're LaMelo Ball, you're living in Charlotte, you're driving around in one of these Tulsa, like Hummer things, the EV things, whatever the hell they're called. And it's like in camouflage. He goes right through a light, like right through into traffic, smashes into someone. And he's like, they're like, don't worry, he's going to be able to play. I'm like, you'd be more worried about the lawsuit for the dude that he smashed into.
Did you guys see that video that was put together of all of his running through red lights throughout the last year?
Yeah. I was dying, bro. They had videos of him peeling out of the and stuff like he's like
how do you get all this videotape? Right? How do you get access to that stuff that someone can put that
film
together?
Everything. There's fans outside the arena. Oh, there's LaMelo Ball just sped out and nearly ran someone over. But,
just ignored all of his fans and almost clipped a chick. Yeah.
But I love the video. It said, and a clip of it, the guy that filmed it said, LaMelo Ball in accident in uptown Charlotte. I'm thinking, there's an uptown Charlotte? Like, uptown East Side? Like, it's Charlotte. Like, come on. Uptown Charlotte? Yeah. What does that mean? I've been to Charlotte. It's not that big. Like, oh, you mean uptown? You mean by Buc-ee's or the 7-Eleven?
That's uptown.
Uptown Charlotte. It turned out it's like the nice part. He's in the nice part of Charlotte. Like, but
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
Smashed into someone yesterday, but he wasn't drunk or high, so he's not in trouble.
All right, so he's out of the game. Yeah. He's out of the game. Any play? I know you got some plays. We'll get to those here in a sec. But any plays of the games that are going on right now that you like?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm on the Hornets live. I think the Hornets money line has I don't know what's happening exactly on that game since I hopped on here, but you just mentioned they were up 2, I think, with about 4 minutes left in the third quarter. So that game is being played at home, and the Hornets have all the momentum in the world right now. And I'm pretty low on the Rockets coming out of the West right now. I have not seen enough out of them. They don't have Van Vliet, obviously, all year long. It's been a problem for them. I think that Thompson's three-point shooting for the Rockets has become so much of a problem for them that at the end of games, I imagine he's going to get more treatment than Draymond Green at the three-point line just to let him shoot every single time. They have too many holes on the offensive side for me. So the Rockets I'm low on. That's why I'm riding the Hornets tonight with that momentum.
I've been fading the Rockets a lot.
Yeah,
I took the Clippers both nights in a row when they went back-to-back right before the All-Star break. You know what's crazy, too? You can get to Charlotte right now, plus 1.5, and they're up by 4. All right?
At home.
You're still getting them. Yeah. Not a bad price. Yeah. Money line just swung. They just scored a basket. But I agree with you guys. I like Charlotte in this spot.
Yeah. All right, so later on tonight, we'll begin with the Boston Celtics taking on the Golden State Warriors. Kristaps Porzingis' debut for Golden State, and it's actually his first game against the Celtics because when he was in Atlanta, he didn't play against the Celtics. So this is his first game. Not that he was there that long, but still. Golden State, Boston. Where are you going with that one?
I'm going to take a peek at the Celtics. I'm going to actually parlay them with the Nuggets money line to hit at plus 130. The Celtics are 12-5 straight up as a road favorite this year. No Steph in this game. The Warriors just don't have enough right now. Even if Porzingis does play in this game, I don't have any confidence in the Warriors to keep up with a team that, in my opinion, is, as we just mentioned, coming alive out of the East right now with the Celtics.
Yeah. All right, hold on the line, Nick. We'll take a quick little break. I know you got a bunch more. We got some props to get to as well in the late game. So, in-game live game day on a fabulous Thursday evening right here on the Grid.
You had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. And similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
You have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe talking some NBA with Nick Campbell, senior sports writer at ZoneCoverage.com, also host of Tiny Nick's Giant Picks, his podcast. So going over the Celtics game, you got to throw them in a money line parlay tonight, Nick?
Yeah, I'm going to throw them in a money line parlay, and I'm going to do it with Denver. And the reason being is Denver and OKC have the most road wins this season. I think that Denver is going to absolutely dominate a Clippers team that, as we saw, traded away James Harden at the deadline. It's just, for me, it's one of those plays that, Darius Garland's still out. Is he going to come back? Is there any reason to bring him back this year? Can Kawhi carry the Clippers enough to be interesting? Maybe, but not against the Denver Nuggets team that we just saw got Jokic back. I have full confidence in the Nuggets and the Celtics to both win tonight on the money line, plus 130 overall. The Nuggets have the best offense in the NBA by points. There's no surprise there. They've got Jokic back, as I just mentioned. That's only going to help them even more. I'm rolling with the Nuggets, and kind of tailing off of that, I just mentioned Jokic. I think Jokic is being a little discounted tonight at 49.5 points, rebounds, and assists. This number comes in plus 50 pretty often, and he dropped 55 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists last time he was in LA against the Clippers. I'm going to say that again. He had 55 points alone. That's just the most Jokic thing of all time.
It could be a
He's
triple
averaging
double
52
night for him.
Every
He's
night
had
could be a
4
triple
straight
double.
Yeah, he had 4 straight triple doubles
Yeah.
heading into the break. I mean, the dude is just like a triple double machine. It's amazing.
So
You know
give
what,
at
though?
least, let's
This
say,
is one of these
at-
games. I was looking at the Clippers. Like, I so want to take the Clippers in
Right.
this spot, but I'm just like, I don't really want to get in front of Denver. And, they're getting
No,
healthier
yeah.
a little bit, but they are getting healthier. They're a little rested right now. But I actually like the new look Clippers. Like, you know what I mean? I don't
They're a
think,
lot like the
losing-
Suns. They high effort team.
Exactly. Yeah. So Harden's gone, and it wasn't like they didn't get along or anything. He's only there because it was a contract thing. Where it wasn't like, oh, it's like they blew it up. But
Yeah.
I like them. I like Mathurin. They don't have Garland yet, but they're actually they're like 3-1 guys since the deal. Like they've been winning, and Kawhi is healthy.
Yeah.
So Kawhi's in Kawhi mode right now. I just sort of get the feeling if I take the Clippers, it'll sort of be close, and I'll end up losing by 6 or 8 late or something like that. But I can't lie.
Yeah,
I was
that's the problem. I thought the spread was just a little too small for me to take the Clippers. The Clippers, like you just mentioned, are a team that with bigger spreads I do like as an underdog pretty much every night against a Nuggets team right now that I think just might turn into an avalanche with Jokic back. I've mentioned kind of throughout the season, I think the Nuggets might be the best team in the whole NBA. Especially when they have everybody, which we haven't seen all year long with the injuries to Gordon, Christian Brown, everybody. Cam Johnson's always out. Every single guy on that team's out. Even with Jamal Murray playing the way that he's playing, he's always dinged up as well. Averaging 52.5 points, rebounds, and assists, though, for Jokic in the last 8 regular season meetings between these teams. I think they're going to have to lean on him a little bit more heavily tonight with guys out. I'm rolling with both the Nuggets to win this game. As you mentioned, because of the spread being scary with the Clippers, I'm going to stay away from the spread, and I'm going to roll with the Celtics money line on that parlay as well. I'm going to keep it simple tonight.
By the way, you remind me of something, Gabe. Well, I was watching Darren Peterson when he played last night. He's like not quite a dead ringer, but he looks like Kawhi Leonard. If you put a picture of Kawhi and a picture of Peterson,
I called that
like
last month. I said he's Kawhi Jr., but he's also Kawhi.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. But the thing is, Scott, if you actually look at him too on some pictures, you're like, there's no way in hell this kid is 19, 18, 19. He looks like he's 32. Yeah. He literally looks like a grown man already. But the thing is, he's like Kawhi already. He's Kawhi 2.0.
Exactly. He is.
He literally is Kawhi 2.0. But last night, I think you're going to bring it up. Like, guys, last night, and I tried to defend him last night a little. I'm like, well, listen, he didn't play here, he didn't do that.
Yeah.
So last night, if you guys see the clip last night, he hits a 3. He turns around. It's right in front of the Kansas bench. He hits a 3, turns around, and he looks at Bill Self, and he goes,
He says, that's it. I'm out.
Yeah. I'm done. He called his shot.
Yeah.
He even poked him, Scott. He even turned around and poked him in the stomach. He turned around, he sort of poked him and said, hey.
Scott,
and said, I'm coming out now. And Bill Self
that's where Scott's right. That's very Kawhi-like. It reminds me of Kawhi Leonard. Right there, yeah.
He goes, I don't know. He goes, I told the kid, you're having a hell of a night. You probably could have went off for 40, but all right. Like, Peterson's 100% calling the shots there, Scott. 100%.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's hard to put, if you
He turns around, he goes, me, out.
Yeah, I'm out. How does an eighth, listen, I live with
the
cramps.
game was still going on. He hit the shot,
Yeah.
turned around, looked at Bill Self and said, yeah, take me out. Like, I'm done.
I mean, I've had cramps in every muscle in my body, right? Since I was 7, waking up in the middle of the night with cramps. So I know cramps, believe you me. But I don't get how an 18-year-old supposedly is having cramp issues in the middle of a game. You know, it's not like it's the end of the game and you're exhausted
I promise
or whatever.
you, Scott, he's like, I
What's
gave you
going on?
20 points in like 13 minutes.
Yeah.
We're up by
And we're up 20 points.
I'm done. Like, I'm done.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, guys.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, and I brought this up on the podcast, and Nick, you can mention, but how long before the agents get involved and say, listen, you're done. You're done for the season because we can't have what happened to JT Toppin happen to you. So
every time a guy's
tell the
shoe
world
explodes.
you're good. Yes, exactly. I mean,
That's all you need.
It's only a matter of time before these big-time players shut it down. They don't know these schools anything.
For me, it's more the other Kansas players where it'd be like, dude, like, so what? We got to roll over when he decides to show up, and is he in this and that? But I don't know the dynamic, and I imagine the modern player is more on his side than the team side, right? It'd be like I'd do the same thing if I was the number one.
Unless he pulls himself out Gabe, in the middle of a tournament game, right? Second round, third round, close game, and he says, "I'm done, coach." Then we'll see.
Well, and we saw with Zion Williamson.
He's got to, if he goes through all this crap, guys, and he carries into the championship game and he delivers in the finals, no one's even going to remember all this stuff, right?
Right.
That's how does the story end?
Yeah. So, but I wonder. I thought that was funny though last night. Yeah, he pulls himself out of the game. Amazing.
I'm done.
It's not even like he's playing poorly. He's playing good. You're right. He could have gone for 40. Amazing.
No, it's like
Nick, great job.
He's like, I'm done. I hit a 3 up.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done. ZoneCoverage.com. Nick Cavity. Thanks, Nick. We'll do it again soon.
Thank you.
You had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. In similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
You have like, oh, well, we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe closing out hour number 1. Thanks again, Nick Camedy. Check him out, zonecoverage.com, at the real Tiny Nick on Twitter as well. And Tiny Nick's Big Picks for his podcast. So always a lot of fun talking with Nick. I'll bring it up just because it's out there. It just, not that I was expecting anything else, but Cleveland's beating Brooklyn 102-87. Or check that. Excuse me, 102-67. This Brooklyn team, I know Sacramento's going to give them a run for their money, but this Brooklyn team might be the absolute worst team in the NBA. They're losing games by 30, 40 points like it's nobody's business. I mean, holy fudge. You imagine having them in a tease? The Brooklyn plus 35, and you'll lose that? Oh, my goodness. And that's the point spread right now, 35.5.
I don't know. I think I might have taken Brooklyn once or twice this year, earlier in the year.
Oh, yeah, I have.
Generally,
yeah, I know I did.
Generally, I stay away from their games. Like, I should be betting against them, but it's an absolute disaster. Like, let's just be real. If we took this team away, would anyone really care? Like, or notice? You know what I mean?
No one would even notice. They wouldn't even notice.
Like, yeah, like, they'd be better off in another city almost. Like, no one in New York cares about them. I know they have their little pocket of fans, but for the most part, like, it's a lost cause. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? They were better off in New Jersey. There was talk of the G League team moved to Montreal. They moved to Montreal. At least have another team in Canada, get a rivalry going with the Raptors. You know what I mean? Like
they
what
really
are the Brooklyn Nets, Scott? Like, think about it. I'm not even kidding. Like, Montreal wants an A team, right? They're behind. Supposedly, they're number 3 in line. Like, you got Seattle, Vegas, and then it's Montreal. Thing is, like, there's already arenas in Montreal. The Montreal Canadiens spoke to Silver about it. Like, there's multiple groups. There's like 8 players from Montreal in the NBA now. Like, basketball is big in Montreal. They do like exhibition game there. They sell out. They have an NCAA tournament there, like in season with teams. It does well. So, like I said, I heard there was a buzz that the G League team of the Nets was going to move to Montreal. The Nets are playing preseason games there. Like, something's up there, right? So it's like, I heard the G League, but I'm just thinking, you know what? Think big. Although I'm not saying the NBA is going to take away the Brooklyn Nets, but I'm just throwing it out there. No one would care if they did.
I'm really surprised, Gabe. All these leagues, NFL too, all of them, these franchises now are worth so much. You wait and see how much the Seattle Seahawks, especially now after the Super Bowl, but even without the Super Bowl, you see how much they're going to sell for now. Billion, right? So if you
10,
said to the world,
and that's not even like the Philadelphia Eagles or like a flashier team like the Seahawks. You know what I mean?
Right.
The Seahawks are a valuable team. They have a nice stadium. People have money in Seattle.
Good fan base.
They have the 12 men. They sell out. Like, and it's crazy, Scott. They were thinking 6-7 billion. Now they're talking 10-12.
Yeah.
Look at the Washington Commanders. Terrible stadium. Terrible everything. And he got like 7-8 billion. Yeah. But no exaggeration. The Dallas Cowboys are like one of these teams. Like, if the Los Angeles Rams, Denver, whatever, these high-profile teams, they could get 20 billion.
Absolutely.
They never want to sell. Like, there's a reason why. Same thing when you hear all WNBA teams lose money. It's funny how the owners aren't trying to sell their team now, are they? Because the franchise value is up to like $500 million a team now. 700. It's getting crazy. So
if the NBA game said, all right, we want to add 4 teams, right? Seattle, Las Vegas, Montreal would make perfect sense. And pick what? Pittsburgh, Nashville.
Kansas City. Kansas City,
right? I mean, and if you could make $6 to $10 million franchise right fees, I mean, you're looking at a $40 billion. Yeah, I said million. You're right, billion. You're looking at a $40 billion windfall for these owners. That's why I say I'm impressed they haven't done it. I mean, you tell these owners, you don't share that with the players. That is all ours, guys. We could get $40 billion. That's how many billion for each of you.
You're right. They don't have to share with the players. The owners get to split the money up.
Yes, that's all.
That's how it works.
That's all owners.
The owners, they cut a check for every owner. They vote the team in. It's like, all right, they paid us $2 billion. We're all getting this amount of money, like, per se. Yeah. You're right. They've been pretty disciplined with it, right? The NFL, like, that's why the NFL is inevitable. And if they haven't fully they're kind of tapped out north of the United States, and they seem to respect the CFL. Like,
Right.
there's this thing about, yeah, we don't want to really go in there and crush the CFL. Like, why is there not an NFL team in Toronto already?
Yeah.
Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, really? Like, you got 9 million people there. Like, they were going to move the Buffalo Bills there. It came close, but they changed their mind and realized this is evil if we do this to Buffalo.
Yeah. All right, late
Bob
night
Jones
pickup
was
coming
gonna
up
own the
next.
team. You had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. In similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Do you have like, oh, well, we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza in-game live game day here on the grid. We got Pete Jensen, NHL.com, joining us in about a half hour or so. We'll do some hockey talk with him. In the meantime, time for our late night pickoff. I'll go first to your game. I'll start in the NBA, pay homage to them. I'm going to grab the Celtics. It seems like everybody's on the Celtics. I'm guessing that line is higher than 4.5 right now because everybody in this entire world is betting Boston tonight. So I'm going to hop on board as well. They finished up the first half of the season 6-1 straight up, 5-2. Yeah, it's up to 6. 6-1 straight up, 5-2 against the spread. Pretty good clip. You got the Porzingis angle, but you still no Steph Curry. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's out for Golden State. That Golden State team, I don't know about tanking, like they're going to lose on purpose. But as far as like slipping, yeah, I could. If Steph doesn't come back, I could definitely see that team slipping big time. There's a reason why the Celtics are now 6-point favorites. I'll take a shot at them. Boston laying the 6.
All right, well, we've got a big trend night tonight, don't we, with the teams? We got 2 teams that we have spent a lot of time talking about on this show playing, including Portland State. Portland State going off the board right now. Listen, Portland State, we talk about their point spread run, but they're actually a pretty good team. Like, they win games. They got a little price heavy right now. I think it's a moderate price, Scott. 3.5. Is it 3 right now? 3.5? I just got him at minus 150 on the money line. So give me Portland State on the money line tonight. I'm going to surprise you with my next pick as well. But so my first pick here, Portland State. Not the number 1 team in the country ATS, but still a top tier ATS team. All they got to do is basically win a game. -3, -3.5. I'm going to play the money line minus 150. What do you got?
All right. I'm going to grab the Magic. Orlando laying 8.5. It's not necessarily a pro Magic pick as much an anti-Sacramento pick. They're just awful. And now they're posting these lines so high that you think, I'm not going to do it. Right before I saw the line, I figured Orlando would be a favorite, 3.5, 4.5. Then it's like 8.5. Holy fudge, right? But you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. Even though they're 1-9 against the spread their last 10 road games. Sacramento's lost 14 straight. They're awful. No Sabonis, no Zach LaVine, both having season-ending surgery this week. They're done. The season for them is done. They only got 12 wins. I'm going to lay the big wood. Orlando laying the 8.5.
Now we're going to go with the Montana Grizzlies in this spot. We've been good with this conference, actually. This has sort of been in our wheelhouse. We were right last night with North Dakota State, and another one of these numbers here, Sky. You got a much better team. They're going on the road, and I basically just need to win the. the basketball game. So yeah, give me the Montana Grizzlies in this spot right now, about to tip off. I'm just looking at a bunch of things. I'm getting the bets in, and I hate the font on a sports book I'm using right now. I'm having a hard time finding things. So I'm operating and juggling a lot of things at once here. But Montana to win the game.
All right, let's go Grizz. I'm going to grab, here's a goofy one for you. North Texas laying 6.5 at home against Tulane. Pretty good matchup there. North Texas 5-0 straight up and against the spread against Tulane. And here's the goofiness. For whatever reason, a fluke. I'm not betting it necessarily because of this, but I'll throw it out there just so you have the knowledge, folks. North Texas 14-1 against the spread their last 15 games on a Thursday. If you needed a reason to bet North Texas, there you go. Give me North Texas laying to 6.5.
All right, the next one, a team that we've discussed ad nauseum, the Denver Pioneers. The Denver Pioneers, one of the number one over teams in the country. We're going under, Scott.
Ooh.
We're going under. We're going under.
Got to do it every once in a while, folks. You have to do it.
Listen, they were 15-1 in this. They're 19-6 now to the under.
Yeah.
They're 4-2 to the under in the last 6, Scott. They're overpriced, bro. It's 161.5, 162 right now. They're not getting there. Look at their games. This is a team that plays into the 70s. Once in a while, they'll get into the low 80s. Because they went over all the time, was more of a byproduct of the numbers being lower. Like this, they used to be 137.5, 141. Now it's 161. They're just not getting there. I've been burnt enough times betting them over, riding the trend, Scott. It's time. It's time. We're jumping ship. Give me the under in the Denver Pioneer game tonight.
All right, not bad. You want trends? This is, I always save one of these picks basically on just trends. This is going to be it. Under 156.5, UC Davis at Cal State Fullerton. Here are your trends. Cal State Fullerton, 11-1 under their last 12 games. UC Davis, 4-1 under their last 5 games. How about one more? How about their series? 5-0 under the last 5 times they've met. That's a lot of unders, folks. I know it's late night. It was supposed to be in our degenerate special, but there were no other games, so we used this one. Under 156.5, UC Davis versus Cal State.
All right, our last pick will be UC Irvine. Give me the Anteaters tonight against Long Beach. Now, listen, Long Beach are 8-18 straight up, but they have covered 13 times this year. They're 13-11 against the spread. They're a good over team, too. They're 17-7 to the over. You got a manageable number here at 144. And a half, but they don't win. All right, they've lost 7 straight games outright. UC Irvine are just a far better basketball team at both ends of the court, and it's just going to be Long Beach can't score, and UC Irvine are really good defensively, and Long Beach can't stop anybody. They're terrible at rebounding team. Like every metric, it's a bad matchup for them. I like UC Irvine here tonight, Scott. I don't generally lay 5.5 points on the road here, but Long Beach is 7-6 at home. This is not, you know what I mean? Like I said, Long Beach have covered some numbers when they're big underdogs, but UC Irvine are going to be in a bad mood coming into this game too. They've lost 2 of their last 3 games. They're coming off a 21-point win against Fullerton, though. There's different classes in this, and like I said, look for Irvine to win by 9-10 tonight. Give me the Anteaters.
All right. A couple of plays here from earlier today we gave out. We got Mississippi Valley State hanging tough. They're down only 4 early on in first half of the game, but okay, we're hanging tough there. And one of them that you and I were both on, North Dakota, only by 1 or 2. Check that, 37-35 against Kansas City.
Second half just starting.
Yeah,
Like
they got
pull
it. They got it. Yeah, right. There's no way they're going to lose this game.
See them. I like the start to the South Dakota-Denver game. 1-0 after 2 minutes, 1.5. Oh, they just scored.
Nice.
They just scored another back, unfortunately. Now it's 3-0. But yeah, what did I play early here? I played Cal Baptist +8. They're down by 7 early in the second half. It's been pretty close, but looks like Utah Valley just went on a little bit of run. And our North Dakota pick, that was it. Oh, yeah, and Emmanuel Quickly with the assist. Let me check in with Quickly. Raptors starting to pull away in this game. They're up by 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
50, was it 51-41?
Yeah, inspiration's got to kick in the second half here. By the way, Utah Valley State. What was the over/under on that one to start the game? Yeah, I'm waiting for the ghost of the dad to come into the arena. 29-22 early second half. 116.5 in it. Yeah, I don't remember that one. I usually write this stuff down. That one I didn't.
I can find it. It's weird because I bet this game, so I didn't. I got sort of single focused in on the side than the total of this game. So let me see what the number was actually in the Cal Baptist. It was 142.5.
Wow, it's down to 116.5. 29. So Cal Baptist has 22 points in 23 minutes of play.
Wow. All right. So
it's not going to pick up.
Yeah, it's got to go over, bro. It's got to pick up.
Right. I mean,
fouls late. 116.5 isn't a big ass. Look, it's 32-22 right now. Starting to pick up already. This thing's going to open.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the over. It's 118.5 right now. I'll put it in.
It's climbing.
I'll say they get to it. Yeah. It'll score. When if it was in the 120s to start, I would say no. But if it's in the 140s to start, the chances of the whole game being this poorly played offensively, that doesn't happen too often. So,
already 120.5 now, Scott.
Yeah.
It's like the book is listening to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's climbing as we speak.
As we speak. Yeah, they do listen to us. They do, fortunately. In-game live game day continues here on the grid.
Had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. In similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Do you have we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. We got Pete Jensen, NHL.com, will join us in a little bit, about 15 minutes or so. We'll go over some hockey, some Olympic hockey with him. Got some college basketball in. We got some NBA games in, Gabe. Not a whole lot going on as far as those games are concerned. We'll take a peek at those, but NFL over-under totals came out this week. I think yesterday on DraftKings. FanDuel doesn't have them just yet, but it's never too early to talk NFL. So I wouldn't necessarily put a whole lot of shekels on this, but there are a couple of plays here, Gabe. Just want to get your thoughts on these things. Without the draft and everything else and knowing when these games are, where they're going to be playing them, there's a whole lot of, still variables that need to be considered. But that said, let me throw out the 3 overs for you. Get your thoughts. How about over 6.5 Atlanta Falcons? They got 6 games, obviously, against the NFC South. All those are winnable. Then they got games against Cleveland, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh that are also winnable. So that's 9 games that are winnable in addition to all the other games. Might be addition by subtraction with my guy Raheem Morris, but I think the Falcons get to 7 wins. I like that 6.5 total.
I would, but I'll pretext this by stating that the NFL schedule is important. You know what I mean? How many games did this against the rested opponents? What's the situation? How many miles? And
right.
So the schedule release, I think, is key for futures. The draft, obviously, although I think the draft gets a little bit overblown. How many rookies really have that much of an impact, right? A few, right? But, the draft is more for show and a couple of years down the road and the result it has. But I'm a big believer generally of, if you're going to bet futures in advance, like football futures, like far in advance, only really bet unders, because only bad things can happen in a football camp. Like, if you like a team, it's not like suddenly they're going to get better in training camp or like in preseason. Like, they're going to be, if they're good, they're good. But injuries can happen, and there's always a couple of weird things that happen. But that's a low number, Scott, for a Falcon team that I like last year, right? They have the talent to be good. I don't like Kevin Stefanski. I don't think, you know what I mean? But 6.5, 6.5 is not asking a lot. You have Michael Penix back. You got John Robinson. You're in a mediocre. The division's getting better. Carolina's better. New Orleans isn't bad. They're getting better. So competitive division. But I agree. I would go over 6.5 Atlanta.
Yeah. How about, I know this is a homer pick for you, but I still like it. Buffalo Bills, 10.5. Now, the AFC East has a brutal schedule this year. They really drew the short straw. They got 2 tough divisions. They're going to get a second-place schedule, not a first place. But are they really losing 7 times, which is what it would take for you to lose? They're going to go 10-7?
No.
Buffalo?
They're
I
an
don't think so.
automatic 13-4 every year, bro. Like, they just are. Like, I'm telling you, every year people say the same thing. Oh, they're going to slip. I remember last year, a lot of people, there's no way the Bills win 12 games. It's 11.5. I'm like, all right, bet against them. See what happens. The Bills go 3-1 every month, Scott. I'm telling you. I know the Bills inside out. That's what they do. Yeah. They go 3-1 every month, and everyone flips out when they lose a game, and I can't believe they lost that game, and then they win 3 in a row, and then they lose again. You know what I mean? And at the end of the year, you're like, oh, wow, they're 12 and whatever, or 13 now with a 17. So, yeah, they're going to go over. It's not like they're bringing in, and if anything, too, there's going to be more sense of urgency now. You have a new coach, fresh face, but you still have Josh Allen and the players. They're going to be aggressive in the offseason now because there's pressure on them to actually win for real. It's getting real now. So, yeah, the Bills over 10.5. And you mentioned it, too, the Patriots suddenly, Scott. You look at their schedule next year. That's a bitch.
Yeah.
Patriots, good luck. You had a great year this year. Have fun next year with it.
Yeah. Dolphins as well. The whole AFC is, like I said. Here's a good one I like. And some of these you got to bet now because these lines will move, believe it or not. Detroit, 10.5 game. All right, same thing like Buffalo. They would have to lose 7 times. Is that possible? Maybe. But here's the key with the Lions. They finished in last place. they're going to get a last place schedule. They finished below Minnesota, believe it or not, in a tiebreaker. So they get those 2 extra games against last place teams. You're telling me, I know it was a struggle last year. Everything went wrong for them, and they still finished 9-8. They're not gonna get 11 wins and go 11-6 this year with a last place schedule. I like the Lions over 10.5.
I like the first 2 better. I wonder if the window is closed for the Detroit Lions. This is it. I mean, it's going to be the last year, I think, for Jared Goff there, and just sort of they put a lot of money into that team that they have now. Everybody is highly paid. Like, they need results, and the window's not going to be open forever. Patience will run thinner with Dan Campbell with each and every year. The shtick will get thinner. That division, I think the Chicago Bears, personally, like, I'm very high on the Bears going into next year. I think the Bears are like a legitimate threat to go to the Super Bowl coming out of the NFC. The Green Bay Packers, the Packers kind of are who they are now, aren't they? I mean, they're good, but
right.
The Packers will be good, exactly. But they'll be good. And then the Vikings are kind of an X factor. Can J.J. McCarthy stay healthy? Right? I mean, they had a disastrous year. They just fired their GM. So the Vikings are sort of in a weird sort of state here right now. But with all that being stated, I think the Lions could regress a little, Scott. 10-7 wouldn't shock me with the Lions.
How about Cleveland, 6.5? I'm probably the only guy in America that's rooting for Shedeur Sanders. I really am. So it pains me to go under 6.5. But are they getting 7 wins? 6 against the tough NFC North. They do have Tennessee, Raiders, Jets, and Giants, but they're not going 7-10 with that team, are they?
Who's the stiff that took that job, anyways? No one even wanted the Cleveland Brown job. Who's their new coach? Seriously? Who?
Monken, the offensive coordinator there.
God, speaking of stiffs, dear God.
Yeah. Passed over.
Give me the under. Give me the under, Scott. Give me the under.
He finally gets the job, and it's got to be Cleveland.
Todd Monken. Oh, God.
Oh, my
I told
goodness.
you, I'd rather Jeff Monken. I'd rather the guy from Army.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them.
Right,
They're not brothers.
Exactly.
They're not brothers.
They're not brothers?
It blew my mind. I always I want the brother. They're cousins. They're related, but they're not brothers.
They're not brothers.
Yes. Right. I always thought, I was like, what do you mean they're not brothers? I've called them brothers 1,000,000 times, Scott, over 20 years. Trust me.
Yeah, I thought they were. How about the Jets real quickly? How about the Jets? Are the Jets going to get 7 with 6.5? Their situation sucks.
That's another one where I'm a Bills fan. I'm like, I almost want the Jets to be good. Yeah, I want to bet they're over, but no, there's no way in hell I'm betting them with 7 games.
7-10.
You can't do that. How? You had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. In similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
You have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, just taking a peek at the NFL win totals that came out this week on DraftKings.
Todd Monken. I got to get back to that. Sir, Todd Monken.
I tell you what, the Army offense would probably do a lot better, than what they've been throwing out there.
I don't know, though, Scott. I was going to say, I don't know. I'm not a big Stefanski guy, but this is a big downgrade in my opinion. What has Monken ever done with Baltimore? You had Lamar Jackson, he never did anything. Yeah. Where you hand the ball off Derrick Henry, you screwed it up all the time. Some of these hires, bro. Nate Hackett just got hired, Scott, again as an offensive coordinator.
Again. The guy had to justify. I watched his press conference. They were grilling the head coach on this guy sucks, and he's like, no, he's good, and this is the guy I really want. They're already ripping the guy.
Yeah, you're bad, Scott, when the media is like, so Nate Hackett, how do you justify this hire?
That.
I swear to God, Nate Hackett has pictures on people. He knows about those files or something. He knows something about somebody, man. Dude, the guy's awful. And then I don't saying that he can't be your video coordinator or your QB coach, some token job. All right, he's in a damn league. I gave your stupid cousin's friend a job or whatever. But dude, offensive coordinator, the head coach, he gets these big time jobs. He's not good at it. How many times can he fail, bro? Right before they're all right, you know what? Maybe he's not he shouldn't be the offensive coordinator of this team. But he's buddies.
He reminds me of
LaFleur and Arizona. My bad, Arizona, right? It's LaFleur and Arizona. So he's buddies there. He's part of the Green Bay tree and stuff. It's ridiculous. Yeah. That's how he got the Aaron Rodgers job in New York, because Aaron Rodgers
because Aaron Rodgers handpicked him. He reminds me of Norv Turner, who went from job to job to job, head coaching.
He was with the Dallas Cowboys. But Norv Turner was good.
Where was he good after Dallas? After he left the Cowgirls, and won those championships.
Nate Hackett didn't
he didn't even have Super Bowls. That's true. He had that. But it was just how many times are we going to give Norv Turner a shot?
I know the Nate Hackett story. So you know where Nate came from. Of course, Paul Hackett, whatever. So you have these football families, man, the nepotism in football. But Nate Hackett,
Paul Hackett's son.
Nate Hackett was the offensive coordinator of the Syracuse Orangemen with Doug Marrone. And Doug Marrone got the Buffalo Bills job and brought Nate Hackett to Buffalo. Their offense was terrible.
That's where
their defense was pretty good. The offense was terrible. If you recall, Marrone got fired, got the Jacksonville Jaguar job, brought Nate Hackett to Jacksonville. Their offense was even worse. That was the Jacksonville team that went to the playoffs and scored 3 points. Remember the Blake Bortles?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Blake Bortles didn't suck and Nate Hackett ruined them. You know what I mean? So Nate Hackett's in Jacksonville. It's just been one failure after another. And then somehow he gets the head coach job in Denver. And he literally might have been the worst head coach in the history of the National Football League.
Think about the Denver Broncos also hiring what's-his-face for the New England play, Josh McDaniels, right? Some of the head coaches the Broncos have hired that are just wow.
Yeah, and they hired the brother, and they screwed him over after a year, and he wasn't even that bad.
Ben Joseph.
You want to talk about race and stuff a little bit. You know what I mean? People don't. They're tired of it.
That's what they point to, Gabe. That's what they point. Why is Nate Hackett getting all these jobs? There's not some minority out there. Somebody.
Jim Caldwell won 11 games. Jim Caldwell used to go 9-7 with a crap ass Detroit team all the time, and they fired him. Didn't get a job after. There's a lot of black coaches where it's they get one chance and you didn't win enough. It's well, how many chances every loser white coach get in this league? You know what I mean? It's insane.
Yeah. Crazy. How about the last one? Tennessee, 6.5. This team went 3-14 last year. Now, they do have the Giants, Jets, and Browns on their schedule, but the AFC South is now good, and they're not playing themselves, so the three other teams are good. Are they going to go from 3 wins to 7? Who's the new head coach there?
So many of these changes, right?
He was the interim, not the interim guy. He didn't get it. I forget who it was.
Who's the new coach there?
But
new coach
it could be New Rockney.
It's Robert Salah. That's it.
Yeah. You look at all the success he had with the Jets, right?
I know.
That was a weird hire.
He's not a guy to turn your young quarterback and offense around. Robert Salah. He's a pure defensive.
That was a weird hire. That really was, right?
No, players like him. Dude, he's not a bad coach, Scott, Robert. I like him, Robert Salah. He's just bad with the media. Like, he was bad he had bad press conferences in New York. The Jets make everyone bad, Scott. You need to realize this.
Yeah. It's the Jets Black Cloud.
Darnold's a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
You had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. In similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Do you have we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. Game day here on the grid, hour number 2. So never too early to talk a little NFL. We'll put that aside. Let's talk a little pucks. We had a great women's match, Olympic gold medal today. We got the semifinals for the men tomorrow, and we got the NHL starting up in about a week or so. So let's welcome in Pete Jensen, NHL.com. We've had him on before. Pete, what's going on? Scott and Gabe, how are you tonight?
Great to be with you guys. Yeah, a lot of awesome hockey going on around the world right now in Italy, Milano Cortina. It's lived up to the billing. Of course, the Four Nations face-off last year was the appetizer. Now even more teams involved here. Some big surprises. Slovakia being in the top 4 and moving on to the semis is my biggest surprise so far. And yeah, you mentioned it, a great women's match today to wrap up that tournament.
It's been exhausting just watching it as a fan.
Yeah.
Like the hockey. Especially, I'm on the West Coast, so the hours, I'm waking up at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, like a 3 in the morning game. So once again, I'll have to do it again. But 5 straight overtime games. Look, the 3 men's games and then the both women's games, unbelievable drama. And same thing. All these teams score late. We saw the U.S. today score late. The men got scored on late yesterday, end up winning. But unbelievable game with Team Canada and the U.S. today. And a game that many thought the U.S. would probably win 4 or 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible roster that the U.S. women's team has built. Of course, Poulin, she played for Canada. It was a much closer game this time around than the early round blowout when it was 5-0 U.S. Went down to the wire. Megan Keller, you give her the props for a beautiful shot there. And of course, the overtime dynamic, especially from a betting lens, is really interesting. If you have 2 tightly contested teams that you're not quite sure who's going to win, we see a lot of the times in the NHL and also in this international competition, the high stakes games tend to go to overtime, and the way to approach that betting wise is the 3-way money line for it to just get to overtime. Doesn't matter
who wins. That's a good point. But I got to ask you, as someone that covers the NHL, whatever, I'm not a fan of the NHL formats. It is what it is. No one's ever going to be a fan of any, we see in football, people complain about the overtime formats, but 3-on-3, this is ridiculous. Like what we're doing here, to go right to the 3-on-3, I would legitimately rather a shootout, Pete. I think a shootout is more natural than this 3-on-3 stuff is. And for me, it's like, all right, I understand they can't play all week and every game. And you know what I mean? And they don't want to get caught up in like some triple overtime game twice, like earlier in the week, and it turns into a real adventure, and NHL owners going to say we're never doing this again. But let's compromise here. I would go 5-on-5 for 10 minutes. 5-on-5, 10 minutes. If it's still tied, we're going to a shootout after. But going straight to 3-on-3, this is just Russian roulette, Pete. Like, it's not real hockey 3-on-3. Let's call it out for what it is.
You get a couple of chances, right? And then someone's bound to win with all that talent on both ends of the ice. Czechia did put a real scare on Canada the other day in the 3-on-10. You got to say,
bro, yeah.
Czechia stepped up in that game. They had gotten blown out earlier in the tournament by Canada. They had Canada on the ropes. And we saw, again, Jordan Binnington with one of those timely overtime saves that he did in the Four Nations. He had a couple of those. I mean, this guy's got to be – he may not win the MVP if Canada wins this thing because they have such a star-studded roster, but like the way that this guy has turned into an all-time gamer before our eyes is pretty incredible. Of course, won the Stanley Cup with the Blues as well in 2019, stood on his head on the road in Boston. So, yeah, I mean – you look at the format, it's exciting. The Quinn Hughes long shift in the 3-on-3 overtime. He was out there for quite a while and then kind of took over the game. So it's a different dynamic than the NHL playoffs for sure. Some people like it, some people don't, but it's exciting. You gotta hand it to that.
All right. How about tomorrow then? Even if you put the 2 favorites in a parlay, Pete, it's still minus 265. So where are we going? Canada's minus 430 against Finland. That's the opening match at 10:30, 10:40 Eastern time. And then USA is minus 850 against Slovakia.
So the U.S. is playing kind of a defensive style right now. Their penalty kill is perfect. Slovakia has some nice offensive players. Slavkovsky in the NHL this year for Montreal is one of the best power forwards in the league. He was having a breakout season. They got this Dvorsky, who's blossoming, the Blues prospect before our eyes. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a lower scoring game in this U.S.-Slovakia game. And you could also look at this kid, Pavel Rezenda, from a props angle. He has 8 goals in 16 games for the Sharks this year, and he had a 2-goal game the other day in the win against Germany in the quarterfinals. So, I think it's a big opportunity for Slovakia to continue to make a statement. Their goaltender as well has been a big stud so far, facing some heavy shot volume. So don't be surprised in the Slovakia-USA game if it remains low scoring, even though the U.S. dominates the shots on goal battle. And they barely scraped by Sweden. I do think U.S. wins the game, but Slovakia has been one of those underdogs that people have been backing, and it's been a lot of fun to watch this team open eyes in this tournament.
Thing is with Slovakia, though, they didn't back into this spot. They won their group. And they were the toughest group, right? The Sweden,
They got the bye,
Finland,
yeah.
Slovakia group. And then they smashed Germany, who I thought was going to beat them. I'll admit, they've been beat up on Germany 6-2. They outscored their opponent 16-10. You mentioned it. They got, their number one pick in the draft from a couple of years ago. Slavkovsky's there's something about this team in international play, too. They won the bronze medal in the last Olympic Games with pretty much this unit. Like, that's what got Slavkovsky drafted number one in the NHL. And when you get a bunch of players, man, that know each other, play a system, believe in each other, and, some people think, oh, well, NHL players weren't there in the Olympics and they won a bronze medal. Yeah, exactly. Did the USA win? No. Did Canada win? No. Like, it goes to show they're not, like, this is a real team playing with house money. I'm going to take them plus 3.5 goals, guys, on the handicap. minus 180. Slovakia plus 3.5, minus 180. The only thing I'll say, Pete, I disagree. I think there'll be goals in this game. I think it's going to end up opening up because I think the USA are too hard to stop.
The U.S. is doing some weird things with the lineup, though. They're kind of burying Kyle Connor. They're playing Tage Thompson, 9-10 minutes a game. That's the thing I worry about with the U.S. If Tage Thompson is in a top 6 role and some of these other guys that we're used to seeing, there were a lot of people harsh on the selections. This roster left off players like Jason Robertson, Alex DeBrincat, some of the best goal scorers in the NHL were left off the roster. So hopefully the lineup they put together here for this semifinal is able to put Slovakia away pretty quickly.
All right, so who do you have winning it all?
My pick was the U.S., and that was before the tournament. And I think that this Quinn Hughes X factor is the real deal. I know he scored the big goal in overtime the last game against Sweden, but this guy is an absolute workhorse. We saw in the Four Nations, they fell 1 goal short of winning it all, and they didn't have Hughes for the entire tournament because of an injury. So I'm looking for him to lead the entire, semifinalists in ice time like he does in the NHL. He's carrying over the momentum. I remember he was traded in the regular season from Vancouver to Minnesota. Since that trade, leads all defensemen are tied for the defenseman lead in points. So I just love this impact and this wrinkle, and don't underestimate how important Sidney Crosby is to Canada. If he does miss the game, we don't know right now, but that's a big thing to keep an eye on that could tilt the scale as well.
I can't see him playing, but Sidney Crosby, he doesn't want to miss this. He lives for this type of stuff, and supposedly he's going to give it a go practice tomorrow. It's pretty wild. I don't think he'll play, but he is Sidney Crosby. I don't want to write him off.
Yeah.
3 Stanley Cups, Olympic gold.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets out
Good
there.
job, man. Check out his work and NHL.com. Thanks, Pete.
You had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. In similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Do you have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. Thanks again, Pete Jensen, NHL.com for joining us. So we got 2 games tomorrow. Canada minus 430. I don't know if either of these teams really deserve to be this big a favorite, Gabe. Like I was telling Pete, Canada's minus 430, USA 850. That's moronic. So I don't know what to do with it, because if you put them in a parlay, even that is minus 260 and change. So it's not even like you bet them laying a goal and a half. I could see both with all these overtime games. How could you lay a goal and a half with the overtime? Obviously, you're not going to win by 2 goals. So I don't know how to attack this thing tomorrow morning / afternoon.
One thing I'll say too, and we always talk about sports books. FanDuel is really good for hockey, and it's been great for the Olympics. FanDuel, they got a lot of options up and stuff, but they seem to be set with weird lines sometimes, Scott. Like other books, it's like, it's 2.5 or 3.5, and FanDuel have 1.5, but minus 600 or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they've made it hard to bet some of the games. I understand. And these games are kind of tricky to bet in the sense, look, I'm looking at Bet365's numbers here, and Canada's minus 2.5, plus 110. It's up to minus 500. I would know.
Wow.
I don't think Canada's going to win that easily against Finland. Finland are good. Finland are like Sweden. Like we saw what Sweden did to the USA yesterday. The only thing is, Finland's style that they play is basically, they're like a poor man's Canada almost. They actually play like Canadian style hockey. Like they forecheck, they're fundamentally sound. Like the things that they do kind of plays into Canada's hands in a weird way. Right. And the Czech Republic, the Czechia has just always been a bitch for Canada over the years. It just is one of these weird things. They beat Canada in the Olympics before with Dominik Hasek. Their goalie, Dostal, was amazing. The guy on the Ducks is amazing, Scott. Something to keep our eye on moving forward in the NHL playoff run and all this moving forward with him. He was hot coming back to the NHL. I got Canada winning 4-2, that sort of range. And Canada's going to win. I don't think it'll be as stressful as the Czech game. I think they sort of had their scare. The U.S. game's another story, right? Especially without Sidney Crosby. But I think Canada dial this thing up, and they'll be locked in, and they win this game 4-2. So you lay 1.5. I can tell you what the 1.5 is here to lay 1.5 with Canada. Minus 185, right? So I don't think this one goes to overtime, although I don't think it's a blowout. And I tell you, Scott, Slovakia aren't like, they're not here by accident, bro.
Right.
I mean, like they had some impressive wins, this team. They beat Finland. They lost to Sweden. They won their other group game. Then they beat Germany in a knockout game, who aren't bad, man. They beat Leon Draisaitl, Tim Stützle, Philip Grubauer 6-2. They won the bronze medal in the last Olympics. Like they've got NHL players. They have the number 1 pick in the NHL draft on their team. I think they can hang. I just think the U.S. will be too much for them in the end, but I'll disagree with Peter. I think there's goals, Scott. Like I really like the over 1.5 in the first period of the USA-Slovakia game. There's going to be early goals in that game.
Yeah. I think there's too much offense on the ice for both Canada and USA to not have goals this time around. I know that you didn't get them last game, but is that really going to happen 2 times in a row? I don't think so either.
I'll say 5-2 USA. 5-2, maybe 6-3, maybe 6-2, but with the empty net, you never know. But it's not a cakewalk, this game, guys, against Slovakia. It's not a cakewalk, I'm telling you. Like, these guys can play. So, I like the Slovaks plus the 3.5 on the alt line. like you said, if you want to take them both on the money line, you really can't do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you got to put something else. Like, you got to attach it to something else if you do.
You got to do this. You pick your poison. Either lay Canada. FanDuel's got it at -142, which isn't bad. Canada minus a goal and a half, and then USA minus the 850. That brings it down to -111. So basically, pick them for your parlay, or you take Canada on the money line, and then USA minus a goal and a half. That brings it down to -131. So
Yeah.
I would do one of the two to win by 2 goals.
I could live with both of them to win by 2. That's the way I would approach it.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yeah, -1.5 Canada and -1.5 USA. Even though I think Slovakia hangs around and scores a few goals in this game, but I still think USA is going to be too much for them. So USA -1.5, -2. You know what? I got +110. I like that. Canada -1.5, USA -1.5, +110.
FanDuel's got it at +144. That's not bad.
That's even better. Yeah, it's
I'll say
better
this.
price. I'm getting crushed. What's the money line at FanDuel on Canada for you? Your line there.
-430.
See, Bet365 has a ton of Canadians that bet there, and Bet365 has the most hockey bettors. They have it at 500. That's the difference. See, they're slamming. They're making you pay for Canada.
Yeah. Yep. Now, if you think both are going to win by 2, here's another strategy. You could play the overs, 5.5. That parlay pays you +234. Now, they could win 2-0, 3-1, 4-1, right? But 6 goals, if you think a team's going to win by 2, is definitely doable.
I think the U.S. one is more like the Canada one going under wouldn't shock me. Like Finland do not want to track meet with Canada. Right. And Canada don't, Canada are pretty good defense. Like, so that game, like I said, 4-2, let's say maybe 3-1 Canada or something like that. The U.S. game, Slovakia aren't the type of team, like they're not going to be scared. Like Slovakia aren't going to say, like Slovakia aren't going to try to win a 0-0 game. Like Slovakia score.
Right.
Like they scored 6 goals against Germany.
6.
Like I said.
Yeah.
Like they scored 6 against Germany. They scored 16 goals in 4 games. So they're averaging 4 goals a game, Scott. Right? Like they're not like minnows that, you know what? Yeah, we don't want to, we'll get outshot 55-10, but we'll try to win 2-1 in the third. No, they're gonna try to score goals. And like I said, like I could see Slovakia kind of shocking the USA early. Like, oh wow, they scored, right? And then the US scores 2. Like I like the over 1.5 in the first period a lot in that game.
They'll come out flying. So yeah, with that empty net situation, as long as you just can't have a scoreless or a 1-0 game. If you get it a 2-1, 3-1, then that empty net, you can get a couple of empty net goals and it'll pop over the 5.5.
What happens with the empty net goals here, Scott? In the Olympics, the team that pulls the goalie keeps scoring all the time.
I know.
Not
Yeah, exactly. Close up shop then.
You had the over in U.S. Latvia. That literally was, I don't like the term bad beat, but it's a bad beat when you have 2 goals overturned in the first period alone and you outshoot a team like 300-6 and you can't get it over. You can't get it over 6.5 and the game finishes 5-1. In similar situation with Germany and Denmark.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Do you have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move, singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it. Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Last check of the scoreboard. Kudos to the Detroit Pistons. You know, our Pistons play plus 270 to have the best record. Got a little bit of a hit tonight, unless they blow these things, which I doubt. 107.90 over the New York Knickerbockers. Blowing out the Knicks.
Look at
now
this,
laying
too.
13.5.
North Dakota up by 16 on Kansas City with 113 left.
Nice.
Late 11 with North. We talked about Kansas City being a train wreck. ATS guys, they were only down by 2.5, but 82-66. Oh, 83-17 now. Starting to pull away. Starting to pull away late. I told you, man. Last night we hit with North Dakota State. Now tonight, I'm telling you, this is my conference. I got to stick to this. You
got to stick to the summit there.
Yeah. Portland State up 39-27. We talked about that game. We gave that game tonight.
Nice.
Portland State getting it done so far. What's up with the Denver game? I tempted fate
34 at the half.
All right, I bet the under, and it's 157.5 right now. All right.
Yeah.
Got a shot.
That's not bad because it's only 71 points too at the half. So they're really
UC Irvine minus 5.5 will be my West Coast pick on the way out here.
All right. Who do I like tonight? You know, Hawaii, that's another team, by the way, that just flipped a switch with the overs. Remember, Hawaii was like 13-2 under.
Yeah.
They hit it over, and boy, it's been nothing but overs for Hawaii. Nothing but overs. That was just a fluky 13-2.
I remember that night everyone came on. Oh, they're 11-2 to the everyone's 11-2.
Yeah.
That night the game got like 160 points or something. It was a track meet.
Yeah. That was
once
the end of
bubble
that.
burst and the tide turns, you can't ride the wave forever, guys, right? Like it's like being in a casino, like in Vegas, like or wherever. At the roulette wheel, if you're betting the outside red and black, like, yeah, all right, man, it came up red like 11 to 13 times. It doesn't mean it's going to happen like the next time you go back. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to sort of adapt to what the new streak is. Like I said, like Denver 4-2 to the under in their last 6 because their totals are so inflated. So it's like, all right, now we'll hop on the other side of this, right? Buy low, sell high stock. You know, you don't ride the same trend all the time.
Yeah. What is the UC Irvine line? Is that a monster number or 5.5? Well, 5.5 is not too bad. They're 14-5 their last 19, and Long Beach has lost 7 straight. So that's actually
Long Beach have a cool arena, but they don't have a big home court advantage now because they're not very good.
Right.
They used to be good, but that was like 10 years ago. Like they had a little run when Long Beach was good. Like they were in the NCAA tournament and stuff, but they're not anymore. Like they've fallen off.
Gave out North Texas laying 5.5. They're up 4 first half, 34-30. So that's not too bad. What other ones did we give out that? Mississippi Valley State. All right, down 7. Early second half. They're kind of hanging around. Prairie View A&M.
They're lingering.
One of our goofy little plays there. So
we got a new sport too, huh? New sport in the equation. Not I'm talking about the Olympics, but college baseball is back.
Yes,
they're playing. They're playing. In fact, they're playing right now. And Grand Canyon, we talk about Grand Canyon at university. Remember, we said, they don't really want to do football because they know it's a lot of money. They're good at baseball, too. So just got something to keep your eye on. They're beating Oklahoma State, who are really good at baseball, right? And Grand Canyon are winning 9-4 right now. UConn up on Arizona. So the big boys are playing baseball. College baseball started this week. And Major League Baseball for the hardcore degenerates. You ready for some baseball? New York Yankees, Baltimore Orioles in the morning. First game. Let's rock.
Little exhibition baseball. That I don't bet on. I just never say never, but that I generally like.
I do, but not in the same way as some other. Like, yeah, but I do. And tomorrow we'll do a little gambling betting 101 on baseball preseason betting. There is a little bit of a method to the madness, but it's very. You'll like it because you don't mind just sort of betting on the streaks and the trend. Yeah, basically with preseason baseball, guys, just throw everything out. Don't think, oh yeah, the Dodgers are like this team and everything. Like, you kind of throw it out. Although the Dodgers do have really good prospects, so you got to know the team's prospects. But basically, there'll be a couple of teams, man, that'll be really bad, right? And it'll be whatever, dude. Yeah, they're 0-10 now. They're 2-12, and there'll be a couple of random teams that are really good. Ride the wave. You got to ride the wave. Just sort of catch on. Yeah. Look, the Pirates are 4-1. All right, now they're 8-2. Like, you know what I mean? You got to follow the camps and just sort of get into this little bit of a groove, and you sort of hop on and off the sort of hot and cold teams. Don't just think, oh, this team is better than the other team is. Like, they're not going to win like that.
Right. You get split squads and everything else too. So it does take a little work. It does. So good job, Gabe. Gabe will be back in a half hour with his Olympic show, 10:30 Eastern time. So don't go anywhere. Yeah, keep it right here on the grid.